Hello simmers, and welcome back to the channel. This will be the second part of my retirement community that I started on in Newcrest. As I stated in the last video, I'm working on creating a new save file for my personal gameplay, and I like for my Newcrest to be full, so I'm going to be doing that before I actually start the save. So yeah, so this is my attempt to put more elders in my game, so I decided to make a retirement community. We just jumped right into this next cottage. I felt like, you know, we did the introductions in the last video, so there's like no need to redo that over again. Yeah, so we're just starting with the kitchen. So for this cottage, it did take some time for me to like come up with the color scheme and come up with an idea. The reason being is because the last video I filmed in January, which I built all of these structures, and I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of forgot what my thought process or inspo was for these next 3 builds. But anyways, I made it work, and we got something great to put out here. But I struggled with the outside, so that's why like the outside isn't done, and I just gave up and came on to the inside. And again, this is not even the final color scheme that I'm going to go with. I'm just placing furniture to see how everything's going to fit, obviously because they were kind of small and I was having a little bit of trouble, but we're going to get there in the end. So yeah, here like I mentioned, this is not going to be the final color scheme of this build, but I'll go ahead and kind of give a description on what I was envisioning. So this one I'm thinking is like for a newly widowed ex-fisherman, because it's you'll see when we finally get to the outside, it's going to be given like fisherman / Brindleton Bay vibes. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe, you know, he was a fisherman, his wife passed away unfortunately, so then he stopped boating and like came to live in this community or whatnot. Maybe he's friends with the couple next door or across the road in air quotes. And maybe they convinced him to move here, which he did. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now I kind of got a color scheme in my mind, and so now like everything's going to start coming together. I'm going to go with these blue Parenthood countertops. I'm going to use that growing together door. And so now I'm just trying to find, placing the windows, but then also going to try to find a sofa that's like small enough. I have it filtered on cats and dogs, so I'm going to use as much of that stuff as I can. I did put this armchair here, but I can tell you that it's going to change because that color was just not vibing well with me. So yeah. And if you see my ReShade menu pop up a lot, it's because I got a new keyboard during my hiatus, and the button that I use for my hotkey for my ReShade and the delete button are swapped on this keyboard, so it's going to take some getting used to. So the bedroom has pretty much came together. This is essentially how it's going to look. I did struggle to find a dresser because I felt like the room was kind of small, but I didn't want to make it any bigger. So I was just trying to find something that would work, that the Sims would be able to route around. Now, I did not play test this build, so you may or may not have to move something. So apologies in advance for that. I just didn't have the time. So still gonna be trying different swatches of different things just to see if I could find something with a small enough footprint that wouldn't cause any issues. And then back on this keyboard, I just wanted to share what kind of keyboard I had just in case you guys were wondering. But I got the Alua F99, and I absolutely love it. I use it for work as well. So yeah, it's just a great keyboard. I just got the plain white one, but I am like searching for some keycaps to customize it. My son is like making me do all this stuff, so I'm gonna do what he tells me to do. Anyways, back to the build. If you noticed, I used this same rug from For Rent that I used in the dark blue cottage down the road. I didn't notice that because, again, I recorded that stuff back in January and I didn't really rewatch the footage before I decorated this one. So the rugs are going to be the same, and again, the blue color scheme, but it's a light blue versus dark blue this time. So hopefully it's very different. And as I mentioned in my last video, when I started this, burglars were not in the game, and when I started decorating the second half, they were. So I went back and I added the alarm system in all of the previous units. If you saw the little urn or ashes box on the counter, I was gonna put that in here, but I don't know. Sometimes some of that stuff from Life and Death is, I don't know. It's just a little bit, I don't know. It's a little bit morbid or weird for me, so I don't really use it. So I kind of took it away and just I put the memory box there because I'm like, okay, maybe that was her jewelry or something of his late wife that he just wants to keep. And speaking of late wife, I'm scrolling through the catalog trying to find these photos because I'm imagining that the man and woman here are this couple in their younger years, and obviously he's not going to take her pictures down just because she's no longer on the sim earth. So yeah, just saving because my game did crash before I started this and I don't want it to happen again. Here I am changing out that armchair. I really didn't like it, like I mentioned. I prefer this one much better. It'll break up. I figured it breaks up some of the blue. I was trying to implement a print, but I'm very minimalist, so it's kind of hard for me doing that kind of stuff. So now that I got all that situated, I'm going back. I didn't forget the sink. I really just wanted to get a color scheme or get something going on. So now I'm going back in and I'm just cluttering the kitchen up and putting a vent hood. I don't want to forget that. Did I put a little window in front of the sink? I may have. I don't know. But we're jumping to the bathroom to finish that up. Like I said, once I got the color scheme down, everything kind of flowed a little bit better for me. So, yeah. Let's see. I think this is the last thing. So we're just going to put curtains on everything and then we're going to jump back to the outside to kind of finish that up. Even though I used a lot of blue on the inside, I didn't want to make the outside of this blue just because, like I said, of the one down the road. Then I thought about going in and changing the wallpaper to this one from Cats and Dogs. That one is really pretty and either one of them would have worked. I just didn't want to like overload the space with blue, so I decided against it. This is how the outside's gonna look. It's this brown wood. Now I will say this lot was the lighting was really bad on this lot, so it's kind of hard to like get the colors. And you'll see whenever I place the foundation trim. I don't even think the first swatch was the color I was going for, but it's all good. It worked out in the end. So I'm just replacing the banisters. What do you call that? Fence. The fence that I had before to the one from Cats and Dogs, just to give this cottage its own little flair. Here I am again changing the foundation trim because I realized the first one I picked didn't match. And then kind of like how I did on all of them, I'm going to get some seating for outside. And then we're going to move on to the landscaping just for this front. So I try to do the landscaping for each cottage as I finished it. And like I said, this is a single sim, so I didn't really want to put too many like flowers or plants. I thought they would need too much maintenance, but perhaps our pink girl, our pink girly, the one who loves flowers, maybe she is kind enough to take care of everyone's gardens for them. So that's pretty much that first cottage. Now we're moving on to the activity center. Something I want to point out, I really wanted to use a glass roof for the outside portion. And now looking back, I realized I probably should have brought in the eaves on the non-glass portion, but roofing is not my strong suit and it is what it is. I wanted to put a trim on here because I wanted to use these thicker columns, but it added a ceiling and I didn't want to like fiddle with deleting it and it messing up something. So it's there now, but it's going to change. And I'm not going to use those newer base game columns either, just because they were so huge. So for this activity center, I just went ahead and placed some games tables and some puzzle tables in there. I did want to use the Don't Wake the Llama set, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like the clunky wood look of that set, so I'm gonna end up deleting it. Then I realized I couldn't see, so I'm adding lights. And I'm not even gonna hold you, I did kind of forget that I needed to put windows on this thing, but but we'll fix that once I realize, oh, there's no windows. So I'm just trying to find a smaller profile column that would fit, and I'm gonna use these. I don't think I'm gonna change them. Yeah, so I put a bubble blower out here, just for like, these people are elders, but they can still have fun, right? So we put a little fan out here. I'm gonna scoot that bonsai tree up underneath the covering just in case it rains or something. So it'll be covered. And that chess table is gonna remain outside. I thought I was gonna put one inside, but I decided not to. Here I am just trying to make the outside a little different, but I really just went with whatever I used in the laundry area because I'm like, okay, well, obviously everything was built by the property, but I'm like, okay, these are like they're not the cottages. So I thought it would be, I don't know, it kind of made sense to leave them painted the same. I'm still trying to make that Don't Wake the Llama table work, but in the end, I just decided to put two tables from Growing Together with the puzzles. I want to say you can do another activity on those, but it's escaping me right now. Maybe it's Scrabble. I don't know. And then I also thought, what activities can they do that are not too strenuous? So I did put a knitting basket and a cross stitch basket down next to those two rocking chairs. Not gonna lie, I spent way too much time trying to fix swatches on this thing. So yeah, that's that. Decided to just use this games table with just two seats, and I was trying to make it fit this building. It was too small for all the things I wanted to include, and I know I could have just taken away one of the puzzle tables, but I didn't. I wanted there to be like enough activities for everyone. So the main room is pretty much set. Now we're moving on into this smaller room, which I'm going to use as a computer room slash library. And then I also placed like this random easel in the corner. I just wanted a lot of activities for our Sims to be able to do on their own property without, having to do a lot of travel. So that was my thought process behind that. I am pretty sure I added bookshelves in all of the cottages, but I also just put, some things here just in case they wanted to read or anything like that. Mini little library. And here I am looking for that little paint cabinet, and I'm not gonna lie, I did have to Google to figure out where it is. I keep forgetting that it's in structures. Or no, it's not structures, sculptures. So I found that. I really wished I would have put that easel in like the main room, but there kind of was not enough space, but I think it kind of works there. They're contained to their little corner. So here I am just decorating the desk, and then we're gonna put the flooring in. And then now we're gonna just put a little bit of decor on the walls, not too much. And I'm going to scoot that bonsai tree up. I'm getting the same foundation trim and fencing from the laundry slash pool house structure. And finishing up this activity center by getting some landscaping. And then we're going to move on to our final cottage. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. So here, this final cottage, I knew I wanted the outside to be a green color, and that was it. So I'm just getting some lighting. And then this one, I'm going to place these base game counters at first, but I knew in my head that I wanted this one to be slightly more modern than the others. Because in my head, I'm thinking that perhaps this sim is freshly retired or like just became an elder, maybe late 40s, mid 50s, somewhere in there. So they're still young-ish, but not old like I think an elder should be. Ages are kind of hard to determine in the Sims, or they are for me for that matter. So there's that ReShade menu again. But yeah, so I'm thinking this one is like a newer elder, maybe a single sim. They could have a partner, could be married. All that's up to you. But this one, again, like I said, it's a little bit more modern. And I did my best to try something outside of the box. I know it doesn't look like it now at this point, but just trust me. This one is going to be my take on a maximalist design. Like I stated, I am very neutral. I suffer from the millennial beige grayish syndrome. So this one was really, really hard for me. I won't say really hard. It was different, but in the end, I really, really like how it turned out. Now, I will say it was not my intention to make everything so monochromatic. I feel like, for instance, in the first cottage, the fisherman's cottage, I feel like I took that blue and ran with it. Everything was blue. The pink cottage, that was by design, I felt like, but everything was pink in there. I'm going to try not to do that for the next build. I don't know why I do that, but that's the reason why I'm doing this. Because I want to get better at building things and I want to see my progress. So there's that. I'm finding some clutter pieces to put on this TV console table. Again, I know I still don't have any windows here. I just like, I wanted to say that for the end because I wanted to like get the inside finished while my creative juices were flowing. Now here I am choosing windows. I think I'm gonna first place the ones from Strangerville, which I really liked those and I really could have kept them, but I changed them to those windows that I was grabbing first from the not most recent, but from one of the recent base game updates. These windows here, I'm gonna use those instead of the Strangerville ones. But either one could have worked. I just wanted to keep this one, like I said, a little bit more modern looking. So yeah, I grabbed this couch. Is that the one from Paranormal? I can't remember. And then I also thought about putting the seance table outside because I'm like, maybe this person is, can connect to the other side. But I don't know. I decided against it in the end. But I did place some sage from the horse ranch pack in the living room because I'm like, maybe this is I don't know what you would call them, wellness ecocentric type person. I don't know. The descriptor words may not be the correct words to use, but I know what I mean in my head, and that's all that matters. So moving on to the bathroom, as you can see, I'm trying to keep it colorful, but also trying to put in some neutral. So I did change the subway tile to white here, but I'm gonna force myself to go back. And there's that reshape menu again. I really thought about changing my hotkey, but I was like, okay, I'll do it after the video. I didn't want to like stop recording just to flip that. But anyways, I'm just getting some clutter for our bathroom here. And as I was flipping through this thing, I'm like, I need to get a couple more kits. I kind of focus more on the expansion packs and kind of forget about the kits. And they've released a lot in the past 8 months. So I really need to catch up because I felt like I could have used some of the newer kits to help clutter. But it's okay. I still like the way everything turned out. Now I flipped the wall tile back, but then I put the floor tiles to white. And I think I'm going to change them back. Now I can't remember, but here we are flipping through the decor to the max wallpapers, and here's what I was talking about the monochromatic stuff. I wish I would have used one of those swatches with the flowers on it, just to force myself outside of my comfort zone. I still like the way it turned out. I just probably should have done something different. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I still like it, like I said. And I was trying my best to find a busy rug, but I just couldn't. So I did use this neutral rug. I felt like it tied into the maroon in the throwback blankets on the couch that we have going. So yeah, then I'm trying to find a runner rug that's loud and colorful as well. And I did change the table from that glass square table to this round table. I think it kind of flowed a little better, bringing in that natural wood color. And here I am removing the cork board and putting up some paintings in the kitchen. And I also realized that I did this same combo in another one of the cottages with that pear picture and Apple picture. So again, apologies, but it was like 8 months in between filming those two separate sets of videos. So forgive me. I really wanted to use the set from Life and Death, but I felt like in comparison to the living room, those colors were kind of dark, and I wanted to keep it like light and bright and colorful. So I kind of went through a few beds. I really wanted to make this one from City Living work, but I don't, for whatever reason, I changed it. And the bed that I changed it to, I realized I also used this in multiple cottages, but I just really like that bed, and it's this one, the one from Growing Together. But the swatches are so different, so I feel like it is the same bed but different. So yeah, perhaps this came from IKEA and it was a set, it was a deal, so everybody just shared, hey, I got this bed, and a couple other people got it. So that's what I'm going to say. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Again, since the comforter was kind of busy, I wanted to keep the rug kind of simple. So I'm pulling in the maroon from the bed into this rug from City Living. I also wanted to use kind of a different funky looking dresser, so I'm using that one. I can't remember what it's from. Is that City Living? I don't know. Then I thought about putting this as the console table because I really liked it and I wanted to use it, but it was just too tall, and so I took it out. And then this is where I'm grabbing some stuff from the paranormal pack because I thought it would be, cool to add in with the Sims personality. I went ahead and put those yellow curtains in here just, to kind of tie in the things. There's like a yellow goldish in the bed. And then I used this side chair from Love Struck. And I kind of struggled trying to pick a wallpaper, whatever you want to call it. I wanted a green, but I just couldn't find the green that I wanted to use from the base game. And I didn't want to use CC just for one wallpaper. So I had this in the beginning, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to change it to something else. Again, I'm just grabbing a whole bunch of different colorful pieces to put in here. I really liked how I made this little collage on the wall. I really liked how it came together. And these banners from City Living really came in handy. I really liked the patterns on them. So I went with that. Here I am going with this green because I really wanted to use this green. And now that I'm looking at it, this one probably could have worked. Is that what I kept? I don't remember. I think that is what I kept. So that's really cute then. Good for me for keeping that color. Okay, so we're working on the outside here, and then we're going to do some slight landscaping on this one. I just didn't like how it looked from the window, so I was just scooting some stuff around in there. And now we're going to do our landscaping for this cottage. Now in this final one, I did bring in a bush that was not in my let's use these, but I really liked the way it came out in the end, so it was a good audible on my behalf that I called. So this is pretty much the end for this cottage. I'm going to do some final touches, and then I'm going to do the terrain paint off camera. So let's jump back in game and do a tour of our final 3 structures for our community. Okay guys, so we are in the game, and let's take a tour of our 3 buildings. Again, with so many homes and the way this lot is situated, apologies in advance for if the camera jumps around or anything like that, but let's just get right into it. So here is the first one. This is the fisherman's cottage. Here, I'm not even going to worry about going tab mode. Let's just go in like this. Okay, so here's how the inside turned out. Let's do living room first. Here is our living room. All of these are like so cute and so quaint, and they all have their own like different little personalities. So here is our kitchen. All right, this way is the bathroom. This one's a little smaller than the others, and that toilet paper roll is a little high, but that's how it is on the gallery, so sorry. And then we're going to the bedroom. Like I said, I was kind of envisioning this one for, you could make it for a couple, but I was thinking that the male sim was newly widowed in this one. So yeah, that is it for this one. Come back outside and get a little overview. So next we have the activity center, which is various things that our sims can do. I do want to mention that I did put the little, I don't know, what do you call these numbers for the houses? But I forgot to put one on this one and on this one. So if you download this from the gallery, these two will not have one. But if you have, what is this, Love Struck? Yeah, if you have Love Struck, you can just go in and add them. That's my apologies. Like I said, I filmed these two 8 months apart. So anywho, this is our activity center. I did go back in and put a radio, so hopefully they don't just all come here and dance for hours upon hours. But anywho, just giving a little overview of that. And then in here is their computer area / library. I didn't put any blinds or coverings on these windows. I kind of didn't think it was necessary, but if you want, you can go back and add that. So that is it for the activity center. And then for our final cottage, the maximalist cottage, let's go in here. I really like how this turned out, and it kind of motivated me to do more builds like this outside of my comfort zone. So yeah, there's that. Again, here's this bathroom. I probably could have did a different rug, but you know, everything, you know, you see everything you want to change when after you've already done it, but it's fine. So here is the bedroom. Again, I really love how I did this little collage here. I don't know, patting myself on the back for that one. I like how it turned out. Yeah, so this is the end. Let's do how I always do and leave off on an overhead shot. Let's take this off. Okay. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this video. I know this was a long one, but we had a lot to build, so I still think, you know, we did a lot in a good amount of time. Anyways, enough rambling. As I said in the last video, I don't really remember how to do an outro, so I'm just gonna say the things that I remember. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. Please be sure to give this video a like and leave me a comment on what you want to see from me next. What else do you think we should put in Newcrest? Because I really don't remember the plans I had, which is bad. But anywho, I'm not going to keep going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next upload, and I'll see you then. Toodles!